Hi everyone, it's Chenzo from Reality Art Pod here to talk about the challenge Season 40, Episode 6, titled My Real Friends Era. Last week on the challenge, after Era 4 won the daily challenge, targets turned winners Kyland and Olivia set the scene for eliminations, which saw Tina gobble Emily up and Nehemiah eliminate Uncle CT. Before I dive in, I put a link in the description to my playlist where you can catch up on my previous recaps. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing, but let's get into it. The players return to the house, celebrating Tina and Nehemiah's wins. Laurel and Bananas are newfound targets again. Laurel is going around the house calling Kara a child with red hair. Aviv gives Kara a little pep talk. Over at Era 4 HQ, Jenny is pissed that she keeps getting picked as target, especially because Michelle has never had to do it, but everybody else has alliances and Jenny doesn't really. The next day, Josh, who somehow can't even style himself for standing in a back alley with Tori, is trying to lock things down with a vacation alliance. Era 1 targets Rachel and Brad feel like they're gonna get sent in, especially against Era 2. Corey is worried about being a target with Janae, who just caused a stir by backing out of being target, then getting picked by Nehemiah anyway. Janae meets with Nehemiah to clear the air, and she shares to us that she has a long-lasting issue with abandonment and being screwed over by people who should have taken care of her. Jenny's only ally is Bananas, and Bananas tells Jenny that Michelle and Devin's relationship is bad news. Bananas and Michelle are allies, but Devin is threatening to him. They head to their daily challenge, Cloud Catcher, where players from each team will race to collect giant balloons through obstacles that could pop them. The balloons will raise a riddle, and the era to solve the puzzle with the most balloons in the least amount of time will win, and that's a lot of variables. Before the challenge, Laurel and Kara are beefing again, with Kara saying she's sure that Laurel has thrown challenges in the past, but she's above it. She would not throw. They get started gathering their balloons. It looks like innocent fun until Derek K takes a hard fall in the mud, really hurting his leg and saying he thinks he broke it. Era 1 becomes a mess. Derek can't walk and is still going on, dragging himself through it and hopping on one foot to get his balloon to safety. These balloons are really sensitive. It's fun to see them pop. Jordan yells at Naya and Janae, and it's not really nice, highlighting again some of the communication issues on Era 3. Casey points out that the team with the most balloons will win, so Era 4 are focused on getting balloons. Era 3 solve their riddle first, followed by Era 2, Era 4, and Era 1. TJ announces that Era 4 had the most balloons, so they win the daily, making Jenny and Josh the winners, and sending last place Brad and Rachel into elimination. Why was there even a riddle in this challenge? It was all about the balloons. Back at the castle, Era 4 have a team meeting where Olivia and Theo are getting handsy in bed. Olivia proposes sending Bananas and Laurel into elimination to keep up their team alliance with Era 3. In deliberation, Corey and Janae campaign against Laurel and Bananas. Corey points out that Era 1 and 2 seem to be working together and that he's down to keep up the Era 3 and 4 alliance. Janae offers to protect them if they protect her. Laurel says she's more likely to win and pay them back, and Bananas tells Jenny that he has her back and points out to Josh, who looks extremely disturbed, that Josh has the opportunity to make things up to him for USA 2. Bananas campaigning really landed, causing Josh and Jenny to come back, saying that they're gonna send in Corey and Janae. Michelle, who could have been in this power position had she stepped up, takes issue with their decision. Josh defers blame to Jenny for the decision, acting like she was going so hard for Johnny and that they were going to tie it up. They break the news to Corey and Janae. Corey is understanding but promises to return the favor, and Janae is frustrated and proposing alliances still. They head to the club. Laurel is feeling herself for not going into elimination. She's getting down with her friends. Derek gives Brad a pep talk. Corey and Josh go around in circles again for good measure, and then Janae and Corey are delusionally telling each other that it's a good thing for them to go into elimination. On the way home, Bananas warns Michelle that Devin is using her. When they get back to the castle, Michelle tells Devin about this, and Devin is hammered and activating himself to call Bananas out. Devin says that Michelle is being manipulated by Bananas, and they spend the night in separate beds. The next day, sober and probably hungover Devin confronts Bananas. They have an argument where Bananas denies saying what he said, but Olivia confirms that he said Devin was using Michelle. Aren't they all wearing microphones? Why is there no evidence of what he said? In 2005, there would be evidence. Michelle and Bananas then have an argument as Rachel looks on, loving the chaos disrupting the house. They head to the elimination where Josh and Jenny announce Corey and Janae as their picks to face Brad and Rachel. They'll be playing to the point where they'll each be on one side of an arena. They need to throw balls onto the spikes behind their opponent. They'll keep throwing back and forth until all the balls in the center are gone. When all of the balls are gone, the player with the most balls on spikes will win. Brad and Corey go first. I'd give the advantage to Corey because Brad is a chaotic mess in general. Brad is throwing his balls all crazy as I'd expect, but Corey is actually aiming, getting to a lead and tossing balls out of bounds to bring the elimination to a close. In the end, Corey wins by a score of 4-3, eliminating Brad. So we have to say goodbye to Brad here, who I'm never really excited to see come on, and I'm usually excited to see him get eliminated. He didn't bring much to this season outside of the weird hookup with Emily, and while he was being sent down for losing the challenge, I can't help but feel like the house was really tired of both Brad and Emily, and there was probably no love lost there. I was kind of bummed to see him go because I really want Era 1 to stay strong, and he's a good team member. I was really expecting them to say say that Brad could stay because Derek basically broke his leg, but they let him go, and I kind of hope this is curtains for Brad on the show now. Next are Rachel and Janae, and I'd give the advantage to Rachel as she's obviously a beast, and this is more up her alley than throwing stars at a wall. They get started, and Rachel quickly starts scoring on Janae with a look of pure focus. The editors really do Janae dirty, sending us to commercial with this freeze frame. When we get back from commercial, Rachel continues to kick Janae's ass. Rachel starts playing defense, and Jordan yells at Janae, which doesn't seem to help. TJ even says Rachel looks like LeBron from the sidelines. In the end, Rachel beats Janae and points out that Era 1 is all Road Rules alumni now. So we say goodbye to an emotional Janae who came into this feeling like she had something to prove on the main show, and I think we can all agree that she's proved herself already and can kind of just show up at this point and ride it out as long as she can. She just needs to chill out a bit and coast, because her playing the game so forwardly and backing out of being a target last week was playing a bit too openly selfishly, and she doesn't actually have that many connections to help her out. She made herself look sus, and ultimately she still got sent in even though her team made an agreement with Era 4 last week. At this point, I think going on the main show with intention to win is a bit ambitious for Janae, but I respect the hustle and I'm a longtime fan. I'd like to see her go back to her roots. We love her because she's authentic and interesting. Now I feel like she's become a bit too into the game and is losing herself a bit and needs to just chill and be herself. After the departure of Brad and Janae, Rachel and Corey have to pick targets for the next week, with Tina and Darrell stepping up for Era 1, Nehemiah and Aviv are picked for Era 2, Naya and Jordan step up for Era 3, and Kylant and Michelle volunteer for Era 4. Personally, I'm just hoping that Era 1 aren't the dead last losers and sent to elimination. That would be so lame. So I'm hoping Era 1 gets it together. Let me know in the comments, who do you think will be eliminated next week, and what did you think of this episode? I'll be back next Wednesday to talk about the challenge. I'm also covering Survivor and Big Brother right now. If you like the content, consider liking and subscribing. Until next time, have a nice weekend. Bye!